Tropical Storm Nicole is slowly strengthening off the coast of Florida, still on track to bring heavy rain to our part of North Carolina on Friday. Elizabeth Gardner is in the WRAL Severe Weather Center with a look at the latest track and the effects we could feel here.
Yeah, we get a new update now at 10 a.m. And the biggest thing is it's now a tropical storm. It doesn't mean that much in terms of just regular old us. It does mean that the storm is starting to take on a warmer core and it's becoming a little more symmetrical. Now, it's not really going to change how it impacts us here in North Carolina, but it's changing structure a little bit. It hasn't strengthened that much in the last few hours. Wind still at 50 miles per hour. It is moving slightly faster, west at 9 miles per hour, up from 8 miles per hour earlier this morning. Everything's still looking on track. It's likely to become a hurricane. This is a little bit earlier. It could strengthen a little faster than it was looking like a little bit earlier today. So this is 7 p.m. on Wednesday, 75 mile per hour winds. It is likely to remain a Category 1 hurricane as it makes landfall here central to southern coast of Florida. That's likely to be late Wednesday night, early Thursday. It continues to head northward and then get kicked eastward by a system that's going to be headed our way. It looks like it's moving, of course, right through our area during the day Friday to produce some very heavy rain. We may start to see some of that rain late on Thursday. We'll walk through that timeline coming up. This is a look at the new alerts. We have a hurricane warning that's now in effect here in purple, hurricane watch on either end of that, and a tropical storm warning as you travel northward. We also have a storm surge warning all up and down the coast of Florida up toward Georgia, as much as a 3 to 5 foot storm surge along the path of this storm. Of course, that can cause some serious problems for folks in Florida. In terms of what we'll see here, this is probably a low end rainfall total for us. This would be from the late Thursday through the day on Friday to early Saturday, an inch of rain. There are indications, though, that we could see as much as 2 inches and maybe a few isolated totals at 3 inches. Right now, a lot of the models are pointing toward the mountains as the area that could see the heaviest rain, and I'll explain why coming up.
Partners in the WRAL Severe Weather Center right now. There's a bit of a breeze out there, I guess you'd say.
We'll take a look at what's happening outside right now, and you can see that it's windy out there. Of course, we take a look at the whirligigs, and they are moving around. It is bright out there, though, beautiful. We have clear skies, of course, and we had a cold front move through overnight last night, so it is breezy behind the front, and we're definitely looking at cooler temperatures. 65 right now. Our dew points way down at 28. Our dew points were way up there in the 60s over the last few days, including the weekend, where it felt really sticky. The humidity is out of here, and the cooler air is now working its way in. We'll hold it here in the mid 60s until we get to sunset, which of course now happens in the 5 o'clock hour. At that point, we'll drop into the 50s. And so it's definitely going to be sweatshirt, sweater, jacket weather out there for the rest of the day today. This is a look at our winds on the left and gusts on the right. And we're gusting up to 23 in Durham and Raleigh right now, 21 in Clinton, 24 in Fayetteville, 26 in Rocky Mount. And steady winds are out of the north at about 10 to 15 miles per hour, up to 22 there over in Rocky Mount. So it is breezy, but not enough to cause any real damage. I had a friend say, hey, it's going to be windy the next couple of days. I don't know if I want to go out and rake leaves. Honestly, I wouldn't bother until maybe early next week, because as our tropical system gets closer to us, we'll continue to have these breezy conditions. Temperatures this afternoon, again, right here, this is a look at our high, looking at highs in the mid 60s in Durham and Raleigh, Fayetteville at 68 and a high around 61 degrees in Roxborough. Our current 24-hour temperature change is significantly lower than yesterday, of course, since we hit 85 degrees yesterday. Looking at temperatures about 15 to 20 degrees cooler than this time yesterday. And of course, we're looking at near normal temperatures as we head out. Temperatures will hold there in the mid 60s. So it is was on the milder side. Of course, we saw the cooler air filtering in for a couple of days. And then we get back into a southerly flow once the tropical system heads our way. It's going to bump up our temperatures. But as soon as that moves on by, we're going to get into some of the coldest air that we've seen so far this season. We're going to see overnight lows solidly near freezing by the time we get to early next week. Our normal high is 65. That's very close to where we'll be today and tomorrow. We'll bump it up Thursday and Friday back to 71. I would be surprised if we got into a lot more 80s between now and sometime next spring. Right now, we're looking at a good chance of the entire country seeing temperatures below normal starting next week and continuing all the way through the 21st. So approaching Thanksgiving, we're looking at just the cold air settling in. again. And it is time, but of course that is below normal. Fortunately for today, it's been a nice day for voters. Election day looking good with sunshine, temperatures in the mid-60s, near normal, just a little bit breezy out there. Tomorrow will feel a lot like today with a bit more cloud cover, and then we start to warm up Thursday. Late Thursday, we begin to see the rain, and it's likely to rain all day on Friday. Of course, a lot of Veterans Day events happen on Friday. You might want to think about a plan B if it's an outdoor event. It looks like it will rain almost all day Friday. After that, we clear out and then turn much cooler. Look at that, 33 Monday morning, 32 on Tuesday morning. Coming up in just a few minutes, we're going to take a closer look at the impacts from Nicole here and along the coast.
Elizabeth, thanks. And as she was talking about, Tropical Storm Nicole headed toward the Florida coast, and already hurricane warnings are in place there. Today on your news at 4, how the state, still reeling from Hurricane Ian, is preparing for yet another major storm.
Florida bracing for what could be a rare November hurricane.
The last one was almost 40 years ago, and not just for Florida, this is for all of the U.S.
Subtropical Storm Nicole churning towards the Sunshine State, heading straight for the East Coast. It could strengthen to a hurricane by late Wednesday. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis declaring a state of emergency for at least 34 counties, releasing a statement warning Floridians to prepare for an increased risk of coastal flooding, heavy winds, rain, rip currents, and beach erosion. The National Hurricane Center already issuing a storm surge watch for Florida's East Coast up to Georgia.
We could see 3 to 5 storm foot surge all the way from southeast areas of Georgia down toward West Palm.
This latest system coming less than 2 months after Hurricane Ian slammed Florida's west coast, making landfall as a Category 4 hurricane. The powerful storm killing at least 130 people in the state, leaving parts of western and central Florida unrecognizable, homes flattened, infrastructure crumbled, businesses destroyed. The cleanup could take years. Now Florida is bracing once again for what could be another hurricane. I'm Jen Sullivan reporting.